Thank you guys for jumping in. My name is Chad Bryant. I'm with Centrios. We are uh, sharing a new platform with you today. Looking forward to the opportunity to spend the next few minutes with you as a team. Wanted to introduce myself. My name is Chad Bryant. I am the National Sales Director for Centrios. Today, we're going to learn about the new platform. We'll walk through the slides. Get in position here to advance the slides. So what is Centrios?
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me step in here for a second. I
Okay.
want to say thank you, Chad, for joining us here. It's Daniel Forte with Controlled Products Access Control Department. Real excited to bring Centrios into the market, into the perimeter space. Really unique solution. We're always trying to find the easiest way to, get access at an access point. I don't think there is an easier way. A couple quick housekeeping things. If you're gonna have questions, put them in the question or chat box there, and we will monitor as we go. And then also, this is recorded. So just want to let everyone know we are recording this event to send out to whoever registered and did not make it. So throwing it back to you, Chad.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Daniel. So as I mentioned, Centrios is a new platform with ASSA ABLOY. ASSA ABLOY is a large company in the access control world. If you're not familiar with ASSA ABLOY, ASSA traditionally has bought companies and plugged them in to under the ASSA ABLOY name that fit that portfolio of door hardware, access control, anything in that space. The unique thing about Centrios is we are a startup from within. Also identified a hole in their coverage, for lack of a better term, of access control. Traditionally, ASSA has done really well in the 100 to 1,000 door opportunities, high security, high integration opportunities. On the flip side, in the residential market, has done really well with the Yale residential brand. Recently acquired Kwikset, and the hole in the coverage always for ASSA ABLOY has been that 2 to 20 door opportunities. Where the end user has control of the access and can manage their own system, price point driven for those customers who, in the small business space, who are a little bit more sensitive to the cost constraints of access control. And so we feel like we're positioned really well to fill that hole, to give a whole new type of customer the access control needs that they need for their small business. When we talk about small business, we're talking typically your 2 to 10 door opportunities where the small business professional, say a barbershop on a main street, front door, back door, or any type of small business that has multiple locations, exterior access, interior access, but they call their service professional and say, give us a quote on access control system. The price at $2,000 to $3,000 a door is just really cost prohibitive for that small business owner. I own a small business for 10 years, had the same experience. The ultimate goal for the small business owner is to get away from having to use keys. The small business environment is very transient, the workers. So the worker comes in, works for a month to a year, finds a different job, leaves the company for whatever reason. If the owner doesn't do a good job of capturing those keys when that employee leaves the company, that exposes them to risk and liability of people having access to their building. And so the ultimate goal for small businesses, as we understand it and as we've talked to them, is to really control that access. How do they do that? The best way for them to do that is through an access control system that allows them to add and remove users. They really wanted the flexibility to do that. So that's what the Centrios platform is really designed to do, is to give that small business owner the ability to manage their own system at an affordable price for them as a small business owner. I'm going to show a quick video just kind of introducing the Centrios platform. So Centrios is we strive to be a product and a platform that brings multiple pieces together to really work for the small business owner. Give this, as I mentioned earlier, give the small business owner the ability to control their access at a price point that is affordable to them with consistent billing. Consistency is the key. We understand that small business owners have a lot of things happening inside of their building, and we want to help them run their business in an efficient way. We have built out a support network of customer experience support people as well as technical support for those installers when they're installing the product on the small business, as well as long term with that small business owner. When they have questions about their system, they can reach out to our support piece. We have a robust sales organization. Control Product Systems Group has partnered with us to make sure that this platform gets out into the market to those installing contractors and ultimately on the doors of those small business owners. It is an app-driven platform. Centrios app is a free download through the Apple Store as well as Google Play Store. Ultimately, the hardware gets installed, the app gets downloaded. The customer can then load their locks, load their people, and manage that system through the app. We'll look at the app in it. It's just important to understand this whole ecosystem is owned and built and operated by Centrios to enable ease of install, ease of managing the system. We do have a dedicated support team. As you can see, our technical solutions, we have 2 individuals who are dedicated solely to the Centrios platform. They're not handling any other ASSA ABLOY products. They are dedicated completely to Centrios. They can be reached through our web interface, through an 800 number. You can do live chats. We have Iris is our web interface that answers a lot of those questions for you. If Iris doesn't help you, then you can transfer over to our technical team, and they're happy to help you. Customer experience as well. Our 2 ladies, Marcina and Latoya, are there to answer any needs that you might have from a customer perspective, account information, the app. They're there to help you understand. We have 2 dedicated salespeople, myself and Joey Mayers. Joey was a locksmith for many years, owned a lock company in North Carolina. Very good technical resource for not only the Control Products team, but also any customers out there who might have technical questions. If you're installing a system, have questions, we're there for you for that support. In addition to our Centrios team, across the country, we have over 400 salespeople as part of our ASSA ABLOY DSS network who are in your town, calling on end users, calling on locksmiths, handling electronic issues. So we have a full team of people who are here to help you understand the Centrios platform. So really, where does Centrios fit in the marketplace? Right now, if you break the access control world into 3 simple platforms, 3 simple tiers, starting at the top, the enterprise level systems, that's what you're going to see in a hospital. This is what you're going to see in a lot of public buildings, high rises, the high door count, high people count, very high integrations, typically require some sort of software system to drive those. ASSA ABLOY already has great solutions for that. If you have ever been into a building that required fobs or high security areas, that's what we talk about when we talk about an enterprise level system. The mid-tier systems, that's a step below. That's where you still probably require a software system to run it, a little less robust, little more easy to install. The lowest tier, which is a standalone system, those are your offline systems, much like some of those that you see where you have a PIN code to get into the building. Not very complex, not very robust. Still a good solution if you're looking for some type of limited access control. The Centrios platform really fits above those standalone systems and right below the mid-tier systems. The great thing about the Centrios hardware and the app you'll see as we move through this presentation is we offer a lot more robust hardware, ease of use, configuration options than the standalone systems. And in most cases, we're actually cheaper than those standalone hardware pieces, which puts us in a really good position. Our system is standalone and offline at this point. But you do have multiple access options with the mobile credential, with PIN codes. Physical credentials are coming as part of our newly adopted Pro plan, which we'll see in a minute. The locks give you access history through the events. We have an online portal where you can manage your system as an end user. Another great thing is Centrios does generate leads for those sales and install partners who are part of the Centrios partner program. So we really feel like we're positioned well above the standalone systems, but yet below those mid-tier and enterprise level systems. The Centrios app. It's important that we talk about the Centrios app because that's what drives this whole system. I mentioned earlier, it's a free download from the Apple Store as well as the Google Play Store. It is a very intuitive process. So anyone can download the Centrios app, whether you got hardware or not. So encourage you, if you have a smartphone and you want to download the app, feel free to go to that Google Play Store, Apple Store, download that app and just set up a system and see how it works. The idea is the sales and install professionals, after you buy your hardware from Control Products, you'll install it on the customer's building. You can then use your phone, or you can have the end user walk them through setting up on their phone. They would download the app, they would create an account, and then it's just a simple step-by-step process of enrolling the hardware. The enrollment process is, if you see in the middle screen there that says devices, you hit that plus sign. It then walks you through, download the firmware update to the lock. After the firmware is updated, you then name the device. You take a picture of the lock. Once you do that, the lock is enrolled in the system, and it shows up here, like in this instance on the screen, Luke's office. Now we know that Luke's office has a cylindrical lock on the lock. At that point, the lock can be opened by the owner. The owner then would just go to the unlock screen, present their phone to it. The lock would then unlock. So now you've enrolled the hardware. Now you want to start adding some of your employees into the mix, or the employees for the small business owner. Same thing. Hit the plus sign, first name, last name, email address. You then go in and assign what lock you want that person to have access to, lock or locks. You then can assign them a credential level. There's 3 credential levels in the system. There's credential holder. That only allows that person to operate the lock and enter into your workspace. They don't have access to devices. They can't add or subtract people. They're only a credential holder in the system. You then step through the second credential level is report viewer. That person has a credential to open the lock, but they can also access and download the reports. So audit trail, who's going out of the building. You want to see that in report form. That report viewer can also do that. The highest level outside of the owner is a manager level. So what can a manager do? A manager has a lot of the same access as the owner. And typically what we see is the owner may or may not be on site every day. So they assign somebody in the organization as a manager. That manager can manipulate the settings in the lock. They can add and remove people. They can add locks. They can't remove locks, but they can add locks. And so it's always good to think about that hierarchy as an owner, helping the owner work through that hierarchy of, how do I want to set my employees up with credentials? If they decide they want to change it later, it's really easy. Go in, edit the credential levels, and can all be done through the app. You can also, as part of our select plan, you can create custom schedules for your employees. So where would that be relevant? If you have a cleaning crew that you only want to have access to the building on the weekends, you can create a custom schedule, assign them Saturday, Sunday access to the building, apply it to that employee. Now that employee only has access to the building during those times that you allot for them. Really helps the owner, if they see value in that, to limit the access to their building. Once you click through all those screens, you hit send. It sends that employee an email. With that email, that's their user log. It prompts them to download the app. It then prompts them to log into the app using their email and a temporary password. Once they log in, they change that temporary password to a permanent password. they now have a credential to use as to access the building through their phone. It's a really easy system to set up, really easy for the owner to manage. Say an employee decides to leave the company, they would go in, click into that user, that person. At the bottom, it says delete user. You would hit delete user. Once you hit select yes, it then deletes them out of the system. Because it's an app-driven software, it's storing all that information in the cloud. It instantly removes access from that employee to the building. At that point, they don't have to go back to the lock because all of this is stored in the cloud through your phone. Again, the locks are standalone, offline. So the only thing that's being stored in the lock at that point is a unique identifier that their app verifies to that lock that they are authorized to use the lock and enter it. So really nice for the owner to not have to be on site. They can add and restrict access remotely because, again, everything's done through the mobile phone. The only time you would have to visit the lock is when you are updating firmware. Occasionally, you'll get an email prompting you that there's a new firmware update available. At that point, you would have to go and connect to the lock, push the firmware update from your phone to the lock. About a 2 to 3 minute process, not a terrible process for the owner. Let's move on and talk about the web portal. So I mentioned earlier that there is a web portal. If you want to manage everything from the app on your phone, you can do so, with the exception of changing your subscription level. We're going to talk about subscription levels in a minute, but I want to talk about it here. You can do everything from the web portal that you did from the app. If you haven't, if it's easier when you're adding people to do it from a keyboard versus from your phone. I have big thumbs. I'm not a great typer on my phone, much like my kids are much better at typing on their phones than I am. But when I add people to the system, I typically go to the web portal. You can do it from either location. It is available to you. Centrios.com, log into my system, same email, username as you log into the app, and you can do everything from there. If you do decide to change your subscription level, we'll talk about in a minute, that has to be done through the web portal in the subscriptions page. It prompts you to put in a credit card. That credit card is the owner's credit card, the owner of the system. That transaction is handled between the owner and Centrios for the monthly or annual fees. So let's talk about subscriptions. Centrios is a subscription-driven platform. If your owner has 5 openings or fewer and 10 people or fewer, they can use the Centrios app for no additional cost. Once the hardware is installed, once the setup is done, they have no reoccurring cost to operate the system. On the free plan, as I mentioned, it's 5 locks, 10 people. Essentially, the system just replaces the physical key. Their employees would have 24/7 access to the building using the mobile app. It would still create those audit and event reports, so they can see when their employees are coming into the building, but no schedules with the free plan. If that end user wants to have the scheduled this ability to customize schedules, or they go for up to a 6th opening or an 11th person, they would then have to upgrade to the select plan. Select plan, as you can see here, gives you up to 20 locks, up to 100 people, and gives you the ability to have audit and audit trails and reporting. You can pay that on an annual basis at $120 a year, or you can pay it on a recurring monthly basis for $10. It's a really nice option to have the custom schedules if you've got employees that you really want to limit their access into the building, as we talked about earlier. Very excited to let you know that the Pro plan will be coming in a couple weeks. The Pro plan is our highest level. It's $20 a month. For that $20 a month or $240 a year, you get up to 50 openings, 200 credentials for your employees. Custom schedules are a part of that, but it also adds the opportunity for cards and fobs. HID CIOS cards and fobs will be added into the system. So say you have a business that doesn't feel comfortable asking their employees to download an app on their personal phone. They can issue them a HID CIOS credential, a plastic card, or a fob that can be used in place of the mobile credential on their locks. Really nice opportunity that eventually, we feel like there are customers out there who will utilize this as an additional piece of way of letting their employees utilize the locks. Not only that, we've got about 3 or 4 phases of the Pro Plan that will be coming out over the next 6 to 8 months, where we'll be adding additional features in. One of the things that we're adding initially into this is what we call scheduled passage mode. So just the same as you create a custom schedule for an employee, if you want your business to be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., you can create a custom schedule for the lock itself. So if they want their front door open during business hours, they can set the system up so that lock goes into passage mode at that scheduled time during the day. There are multiple ways you can set that up, and we've got some great tutorials on our website about how you set those things up. And Control Products team, as well as the Centrios support team, would be happy to walk you through, what that looks like. But just know there are multiple things coming in the near months that we're adding to that Pro Plan to make it more easy and more robust for that small business owner to manage their business access. Very excited about the Pro Plan. So once we have the Pro Plan in place, if a customer upgrades to the Pro Plan, they'll have 4 ways to access their building through the plastic cards, plastic fobs, of course, the mobile credential, as well as PIN codes, which we'll talk about on one of our pieces of hardware at our smart reader. So 4 ways to access, whichever works for the end user. They can certainly utilize one or all of these options. So from a product perspective, we're bringing to the market 3 products. We have a full portfolio of additional products that we'll be bringing. Within the next 6 months, we'll have every potential option that a small business owner might need to secure their building for the different hardware options that they have in their space. So our first product that we have on the market is the cylindrical lock. The cylindrical lock is a grade 1 commercial product. We really were excited that we could bring a product at this price point that is a grade 1 commercial product. We have it available in 4 lever styles, as you see up in the top left, 5 finishes. It's important to understand that when you change the finish of the lever, the only thing that changes is the lever itself. The escutcheon that you see there will still be black. Unfortunately, as Henry Ford said, you can have it in any color you want as long as it's black. Now, the material that it's made out of is called Macrolon. It's a glass-filled polycarbonate, very robust product. It gave us the opportunity to get a 3-hour fire rating, to get the BHMA grade 1, as well as an IP67 rating, which is a water and a dust setting. So this meets every criteria that you would need for a commercial space. It's very robust. It's going to hold up very well under UV conditions. Temperature rating of -40 to 140 on the temperature scale. So really robust lock. It is available in multiple keying options. You can get it. It comes standard with a 6-pin para keyway. You can get it in small format interchangeable core, large format interchangeable core. You can get it less cylinder if you have the opportunity or the desire to change the cylinder out to match something that's already being utilized by that small business owner from a keying perspective. A lot of options in there. You can also get it key free if you don't want a key bypass. So as you see in that middle picture there, it just has a lever on the exterior with no cylinder in it. Also an option. We built this platform not only for ease of use and understanding by the small business owner, but we also had the sales and installation professionals in mind with some of the easy installation opportunities that we have. You can field hand it. It doesn't have to be ordered handed. If you by chance mess that handing up, there is a release button on the back of the escutcheon, which releases it back into the neutral position. You can then rehand it correctly. So a lot of our locksmiths and security professionals love that opportunity to be able to fix things in the field as they do the install. It also adjusts to multiple door thicknesses from 1 3/8 up to 2 1/4. We understand that there are a lot of residential thick doors in commercial spaces. So we have the ability to order it with a 2 3/4 back set as well as a 2 3/8 to really accommodate both of those opportunities. It does have it is battery powered. We are rating it at a year life with 4 AA batteries, and that's 20 to 30 cycles per day. So a pretty good lifespan on the locks itself with the batteries. Of course, the lock does give you low battery indication. When the batteries are low, it will start giving you warnings through the app and the lock itself that the batteries are running low. If you do run the battery completely dry, there is a jumper on the outside escutcheon that allows you to apply a 9-volt battery, powers the lock up, and allows you to use your credential, then get to the inside, change the batteries out hopefully at that point. If you don't have a key to override that. Really excited about the cylindrical lock. We will have a mortise and exit trim coming that utilize very similar escutcheons on the battery power and the battery life and all those things. Very excited about those future ads on the product side, but the cylindrical lock is our first product.
So Chad, quickly, you mentioned IP67. The one thing I'd want to point out that is both sides, right? So fully outdoor rated. Take this out to the
Correct. Yeah.
perimeter, a gate, weld in a
Yeah.
box,
Great
put it in.
question. Yeah, great question, Daniel. And what we realized early on was we came into this with the mindset of making sure that both the interior and exterior escutcheons were both weather rated and rated to that IP67 rating, and we achieved that. What we didn't realize was a lot of people in the industry, a lot of our competitors, only the exterior escutcheon is rated, so you can't use it on an exterior gate or fully exterior application. Very important for control products and your clientele as the main industry that you guys are doing is gates. So yeah, very excited that we have that opportunity. It does also, I failed to mention that it's a 161 prep. If you have your 6 and 12 through bolt holes already drilled, that's a perfect scenario. You don't need additional holes for the ribbon cable. The ribbon cable actually passes through your prep hole. So really easy install from a installation perspective. If you have your 161 prep already done, all you need is a Phillips screwdriver to install this lock. Very, very easy from an installation standpoint. We do, as I mentioned, we do have 2 3/4 as well as 2 3/8. So if you have square and round latches, so whatever configuration you need to accommodate the door that you're working on or the gate that you're working on, we have those options. All the strike options as well. We have cover plates. So if you are working on an exterior door that has a different standalone lock on it, you're removing that, and there may be a variety of Swiss cheese holes in that door. The cover plates give you the opportunity to cover up almost every other standalone lock that might be in the marketplace. Joey, who I mentioned earlier, he did a really exhaustive study of what the footprint of all our competitors' locks are, and we have built this cover plate to accommodate that. Really nice, robust metal, so no need for the gate and locksmiths, gate installers, locksmiths, security professionals to be on the back of their truck trying to build a plate to cover up the holes that are on the wall. We've already done that for you. Cards and fobs obviously are available as an accessory in the drill jig if you have to drill a bunch of wooden doors or metal doors that you have to drill your prep holes for. This is a really nice piece to pop it in the hole. It's got really nice metal bushings in that that you can drill through. Use it on multiple doors at the same time. The smart reader is our second piece of hardware. Go back. The smart reader is the second piece of hardware that we have. So as the cylindrical lock was battery powered, we knew it was very important to have a fully wired version as well. So the smart reader is that version. It is a hardwired 12 to 24 volt self-sensing. So there's no jumpers that have to be moved to move it from 12 to 24 volt. All of the wiring is done on the back of this unit. It is a slimline version, so if you want to put it on an aluminum storefront, you can do that. It definitely accommodates to that. Um, it has two inputs, two outputs, a request to exit. So any type of configuration that you're working with, whether it's electric strikes, mag locks, um, auto openers, it gives you the opportunity to accommodate all of those things. Think of this as a mini controller with a keypad all the wiring is done on the back. Those posts can be removed. Your wire is inserted and then snap back into place. Really nice piece. We do have, and Control Products has the availability. So if to have a kit, so with one item number, you'll get the power supply, you'll get the reader itself, all of those options at the bottom. There's 5 different kits based on what electric strike you want to cut into it. Wave sensors, DPS sensors, all of the stuff is basically an access control system in a box. It all comes together and ships to you in one piece. Um, it's important, that you understand that this is a hardwired version. It's going to be, obviously a little bit more install. If it's a fresh install, as you're going to have to put your power supply, all of that in place. Really nice piece. As you can see, it does have a pin code on it, a keypad. So inside the app, you have the ability to, when you install a smart reader, your end user can enable PIN codes for their employees. So say they want a mobile credential, but they also want their employee to have a PIN code. So in the system, you enable the PIN code. It generates a 5-digit PIN code for that employee, sends it to them in an email. They can now use the PIN code to access the lock in addition to their mobile credential on their smartphone. The one caveat with that is if you do enable PIN codes, you as the owner would then you would have to travel to all the locks and push the PIN codes from the phone to the lock itself. PIN codes are stored on the lock. So it is an additional step, but it is really nice if your employee has PIN codes or wants to use PIN codes, they can do that there. It's a capacitive touch keyboard. One thing I did want to also mention is a lot of times we'll have installers get to the job and there's a single gang junction box on the wall um, that they actually want the smart reader to be installed on. At that point, they have to go find a blank box, a blank cover, adapt it somehow, put it on the wall, and it doesn't necessarily always look great. We included a single game plate, which you can mount the reader to in every reader. So we don't want you to have to second guess it. You see in the slide here as well the smart reader expansion unit. So what this is, it's a pairing device for the smart reader. If your end user or you as a installing professional are nervous about all the wiring being on the outside of the non-secure side of the gate or the building, you can pair it with this expansion unit. The expansion unit can be placed inside the building, near the power supply or on the safe side. All of the wire in it, if you flip that around, it mirrors exactly to what the smart reader is. It allows you to do all the wiring on the safe side of the building or of the door. You run a 4-wire conductor jumper from that relay expansion unit out to the smart reader. It now just turns that smart reader into a reader itself and no actual configuration done on the back of it. So it's a nice piece if there is some safety concern about the wiring being on the outside of the building. Most cases that's not an issue, but we wanted to make that available. That's coming this summer as well. Here's just a recap of all the things that I talked about: your onboard relays, your inputs, your outputs. Um, if you're if you do have mag locks or an electric strike, it's important to mention that if you have a latch retraction or auto openers in the settings of the lock, you can time those out to where your electric strike fires first, then your auto opener closely follows that. All of that can be programmed and manipulated inside of the app to accommodate whatever door configuration or gate configuration you have for your end user. Very very robust and a lot of different options you can do in there. It does have a tamper switch on the back of it. That will program and it will shut down the lock if somebody happens to try to tamper with it. It does disable the lock. Cards and fobs obviously can be used with it as well, in addition to the pin codes. It's important to also, I mentioned the pin codes that you have to travel to the lock and actually push the pin codes from your app into the lock itself. Same thing with cards and fobs. If you do add cards and fobs, because it is an offline lock, you would program into the app or the web portal those PIN card numbers and fob numbers. You would then have to take your phone, travel to the lock, and sync the phone with the lock to move that information for the cards and fobs onto the lock itself as well. Same thing when you delete a user, you can delete them from the app or from the web interface. You would then have to take your phone and sync it to the lock. So a little bit of an additional step there if you're using cards and fobs or PIN codes. If you're only using the mobile credential, you don't have to do that. But because that information for the cards and fobs and pins are stored at the lock level, you would have to travel to the lock itself. One additional step necessary. We do have a pathway and an engineering plan built out to have these locks be online as part of the Pro plan. That's a future add that will at some point be an option. We expect that people will be excited about that. And at that point, you won't have to travel to the lock to do a lot of these changes because they will be online. The great thing about that is when we get to that point and we find a good hub to take the locks online, the hardware already includes the radio for that. So you won't have to replace the hardware. It'll just be a firmware update to the lock itself to enable that. Not required to operate as an access control system, just a future option if the end user wants that as part of the Pro plan. Very excited to talk about the Centrios padlock. As we talked to small business owners and showed them the portfolio of products that we were bringing to the market, we asked them, hey, what additional locking pieces or additional hardware would make your job easier as a small business owner? And a lot of them said padlocks. Every small business has a padlock somewhere, either on a gate, either on a cage, a trailer in their lot, a Connex box, as you see here, a bicycle, on a street pole. The small business owners told us we use a lot of padlocks. A lot of times people don't know where the keys are. We end up having to have somebody come out and cut them off, or they're wasted at that point. So we were able to find a source an internal OSA company to build us a padlock that operates on the same mobile platform and mobile credential as the Centrios other hardware locks. So in the graphic you see there is a brass tack on the bottom of the lock. You wake the lock up with that brass tack. It then communicates with the app, opens and closes based on the credential holder having access to it. It is a IP67 rated lock, 240-hour salt spray. It does have a 6-month battery life. It does have a lithium battery in it. If that battery does go dead, you charge it with a USB-C charger. If that lock happens to be on a gate or a trailer and you go out and the lock is dead, you would just take a jumper, one of those little battery packs that everybody has in their backpack to keep their phone charged in an emergency. You would plug it into that battery pack, plug that USB-C end into the padlock itself. It immediately wakes the lock up, allows you to use your credential to open it. Then you would just charge it. It takes about 45 minutes to full charge. You're good for another 6 months on the life. Very robust lock. It has an indication light in the O of Centrios. So it shows you and tells you what the lock is doing by the flashing sequence, much like the other locks in our portfolio. Here's a demonstration of how you activate it. That's the brass tack on the bottom. It interacts with the app and then opens or closes. You also see the charging port there on the bottom. Really nice feature. We expect this to be into the marketplace at a price less than $200 to the end user. I didn't talk about pricing, but the cylindrical lock has a list price of $680. The list price on the smart reader is $7.99. And so as you think about the portfolio of locks that you've seen and you've sold to your end users and customers, we're priced really competitively in the marketplace for the amount of options and opportunities that we give the small business owner for accessing those locks. All products come with a 2-year warranty. That is a manufacturer warranty. I mentioned earlier the grade 1 commercial on our portfolio of products, 3-hour fire rated temperature ratings, which should accommodate everything that we see here in North America.
Chad, we had a quick question that I'm gonna let you answer here in the box.
Okay.
Basically, they're saying this seems to be employee access focused. Is there a plan for facilities with a few employees but many customers, thinking like tanning salon, self-storage, gyms, things of that nature?
Yeah. If you go back to that Pro plan, the Pro plan allows you up to 50 hardware devices and 200 users. Part of the expanded Pro plan that I mentioned earlier, where we're adding features and benefits throughout the year to that. One of the future adds is the ability to go above 200 users. So 50 hardware pieces will still be the hard limit for hardware. But we will have the ability to add additional users at a cost. What that cost is, we're still working out. But it will allow you to go above 200 users. The use case that we've heard and what really drove this was, hey, we've got a pool in our neighborhood, in our neighborhood association. The pool has 2 gates, but we need 800 people. We need 800 credentials for the neighborhood. And so we'll be able to accommodate those opportunities in the very near future. Speaking of mini storages, we're also working out as part of the Pro plan where padlocks don't count towards that 50 hardware pieces limit. So padlocks won't count against the 50 hardware devices. That'll only be door hardware, which will allow you to add, say for a mini storage opportunity, add additional hardware and additional users. So it does get a little bit more complex as you get above the hard limits of the Pro plan, but it will be possible. We're expecting that to be late summer, early fall when we add that to the Pro plan. So yeah, a really good question on those upper limits. We've gotten a lot of requests for that pool type scenario that I've talked about. Pickleball courts, everybody loves pickleball and they want everybody to have access to pickleball courts and that sort of thing. So yeah, that should answer that question, Daniel, of additional access and additional hardware above the limits of the Pro plan. The cylinder, so let's talk a little bit about the cylindrical lock when you install it. It is really easy to install for the end user or for the sales and install partner. The box, even from the unboxing experience, when you open the box itself, the first tray goes on the exterior of the door, second tray goes on the interior of the door. It has QR codes. It has all of the things that you're going to need. It's got an instruction manual, even down to the fine detail of 2 things. We used all recycled content in the box to be very environmentally friendly. But because we use the recycled content, it does create a little bit of dust on the escutcheons. So we included a cleaning cloth inside the box so that when the installer gets done installing it all, they can wipe the lock down with that microfiber cloth that's branded Centrios and have a really nice display and have a really nice opportunity for the end user to be able to experience a clean, fresh lock when they go to install it. Really is a 4-step process. You make sure your door is prepped. You put the exterior escutcheon on, or you put the latch in. Your escutcheons pop together. The retractor that retracts that latch sets in the middle. No adjusting the escutcheons. No shimming necessary. It auto adjusts based on that retractor setting on springs. And it really is a very easy install. Pass the cable through. When you are installing it, we need to make sure that when that cable snaps into the battery pack, you got to make sure it's flat against the thing before the battery cover slides on. That is an essential piece. We're working on making that more robust, that connection. We have had some breaks in the field, but it's a very easy process. The handing So once you put your escutcheons on, put your two through bolts in, set your handles, your cylinder, make sure your battery pack is plugged in, put your four batteries in, the lock will fire up, and now you're ready to start unrolling the product, put the battery cover on. There's one additional Phillips screw that holds the interior escutcheon to the on the inside, three screws, and you're done. Um, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the Centrios Partner Program. Centrios.com is our website. If you go to the Where to Buy Finder, you'll see all of the partners listed there. Obviously, Control Products is a nationwide partner for us. If on the Where to Buy Finders you see on the far right here, all those blue dots there represent either a Control Product Systems group location near you or a sales and install professional. We really want our website to be an aggregation point for end users. End users can come here and say, I need information about Centrios. Who can I find in my local market who I can call and have this product installed on my building for me? All of those locksmiths and security professionals listed there are considered partners. So that end user can put their email address or their zip code in. It will pull up a list of partners in their area who can sell and install the product for them. Locksmiths, security professionals, gate operators, door installers can come to this website and say, who can I buy Centrios from? They can put their zip code in. The local Control Product Systems Group branch shows up. They know exactly where to go. But we need those sales and install partners to be added to this. So if you're on this and listening to this and you think, man, this would be great if I could be a part of the Centrios program, what do I need to do? Well, all you need to do is go to the Centrios website, click on Become a Partner. It has all the information there. There's no annual purchasing expectation. It's a really easy process. What we ask for you to do is say, raise your hand and say, hey, I want to be a Centrios partner. Go to that website, put your email address in. They will then kick you into our backend Centrios partner portal, which gives you access to training, co-branding marketing material opportunities. You can see a calendar of events, what's going on. But the greatest thing of all is if that end user comes to our site and they click on have this partner contact me, it actually creates a lead to you on the back end and sends you an email and says, hey, ABC ABC Barbershop, they have a need for Centrios. They want you to call them and contact them about putting a Centrios lock on their building. So we're the first ASA Abloy company that's actually able to generate leads for our sales and install partners. So really good opportunity. There's a swag bag that's sent out to you. You're kept up to date on all the new products and new opportunities. It actually generates an installer code for you so that if when you install a lock, if you use that 6-digit number that's specific to your company, you can in the Centrios Partner Portal, you can track all of the buildings that you've installed products on. Some really nice pieces built into there. We really value our customers and our partners who say, hey, we want to be a partner of Centrios. It also gets you direct access to our tech guys. So a lot of benefits to you being a Centrios partner. Again, go to centrios.com, become a partner. That begins your journey. It's really easy. Fill that information out. One of our customer experience reps will get in contact with you to verify everything. They'll give you a link to the backend site. Take the 45 minutes of training videos, and then you'll go directly to the Where to Buy Finder after you finish those 45 minutes of training videos.
All right, so we had some questions. One of them accidentally clicked through. Is there a key option on the padlock?
No key override on the padlock. It is the mobile credential only. We are looking at a future expansion of the padlocks to potentially include a key override, but yeah, right now it's only the mobile access.
Yeah, so if it died in the field, what you'd want to do probably is go out there with a little battery pack with a USB-C, right? Pop it in
Correct.
there, 5 volt, present, unlock, and go charge.
Correct. Yeah.
And then we did have, does the manager phone have to be present to add a new user or remove a user? Kind of one question.
Yeah, no, the great thing about it is the owner can add people into the system from anywhere. So I live in North Carolina. I know Daniel's a California guy. So if I'm standing at Daniel's building in North Carolina and he wants to give me access from California, all he would do is click the plus sign. add my first name, last name, email address, assign me to the lock, schedule, hit send. I then am standing here, get an email. I download the app. Because it is a cloud-based service, everything happens in the cloud and is communicated to your cell phone from the cloud. Nothing happens at the lock. It's all cloud-driven. If you think data on card, it's data on phone. All of the data is actually stored in the app on your mobile credential, and that's what communicates with the lock. So really nice feature there
And
to be able
then
to do
in
it.
the case of physical credentials, and this is kind of for me too, is it anyone? So say I added you in with a physical credential, would any user then add you if they went through with their mobile, or does the manager specifically have to go?
Manager only in that case. The manager would have to travel to the lock. So if I'm in the North Carolina location, Daniel's in California, the North Carolina manager would have to actually go add the physical credentials and then hand me a card. Then I would be able to use that physical credential in the future. Same thing if I left the company, Daniel could delete me from the system, or the manager could. They would have to travel back to the lock, pull that information out using by syncing their phone with the lock to pull that fob and card information out, or PIN code.
And I'll answer the last one. Yes, event log is available. We do have, they are tracking who's coming and going when.
Correct. Yeah. And every user pulls that event log as well. So even the credential holder, when they scan their mobile credential, it is pulling that information out of the lock and communicating it to the cloud. The speaking of the audit trail, since that was a question, the audit trail can be done at the lock itself. So you can connect to the lock, pull the audit trail up on your phone. It gives you a 2-week run of all of the events that have happened on that lock. If you need a more robust list through the web portal, you can actually email yourself a report that shows all of the history of the lock, all of the events of the history of the lock. So multiple ways to access those audit reports. There's about 4 different reports as well that you can pull from the web portal. So a lot of opportunity, a lot of different data at the end user's fingertips. Next steps, really, we'd love for you to become a partner, partners at .centrios.com. Follow us on all of our social media sites. Thank you to the Control Products, Zach and Daniel and your team, for the most recent press release that you guys did for us. It's created a lot of buzz on our social media. We are marketing a little bit different because we want to build that brand recognition among the end users. Not only are we doing the standard trade shows that you would expect for a company of our size and stature to be doing, but we're also doing a lot of market verticals. We're doing the National Dental Association show. We're the only access control company there. Churches and small Montessori schools have been a really nice customer of ours. So we're doing some of these market verticals that we're going after. We're doing their shows as well. Fence Tech, we did Fence Tech as part of the Control Products Group's booth. So we're trying some of those non-traditional things to create brand awareness at the end user level, and kind of push that up the chain to you all, so that you're getting calls and you're getting some awareness in the industry as well. And quote us on your next project. If you have questions, Daniel's team is great at answering questions. If their team reaches out, you can reach out directly to us. We're here for you, whatever the channel is, whatever you feel comfortable with. Think of Centrios on your next project. So when you hear, hey, we just have a few doors, or we've got multiple sites, or we need multiple methods of access. And the big one is, hey, we're tired of using keys. We don't want to use keys anymore. So these are the questions that we hope prompt you to think about Centrios. That's what we built this platform for, was to really answer and be the answer to these questions that you see here on the screen. Daniel, is there any other questions?
Yeah, there was a country of origin for the hardware. I feel like that might be a few different places from what I know.
Yeah, so great question. The Centrios platform, all the battery powered products are assembled in Berlin, Connecticut. Keyword, they're being assembled. Some of our parts do come from Mexico. There are limited, not many parts coming out of China. Most of it's coming from Mexico, and we are sourcing some stuff from the U.S. as well. So from we're not at this point, we don't qualify for any of the new BABA or Buy American stuff. We're pursuing that. We don't expect that to be a huge thing because we're not really doing a lot of specified projects, and especially government type projects. The smart reader, which is the wired version, is assembled in Arizona by the Securitron team, which is an ASA company as well. The padlock is coming out of Brazil. Papais, which is a padlock company that is an ASA company as well, down in Brazil, is building a padlock for us. So, country origin is a little bit of a tricky question, but yeah, all of the products are assembled in the U.S. In those two locations, with the exception of the padlock. It's coming fully configured out of Brazil.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And you speak a lot about a small business, and that's where it was like driven to. And I really want our customers to look at it more from like a 1 to 50 door perspective, right? 200 users or less perspective. I mean, I can see these things going on a residential ped gate with the lever set and a keypad on the driveway gate, right? Don't limit it. Don't think of it that way. There's a question for RMR for dealers. Is there any there?
Yeah, we built this platform as a non-RMR piece. When we talked to small business owners, specifically about the subscription costs, they said we want it to be very easy to understand and be, consistent on a monthly basis. And so we made the decision to build it as a non-RMR platform. And I know that there are a lot of RMR platforms out there, and we really don't want to replace those RMR platforms. The RMR model really works well for that intermediate to high, intermediate to the enterprise level systems. But where your end users balks at the price of an enterprise level system, we really want to be that backup plan. Not that we don't want you to earn RMR. Certainly we encourage the Centrios partners and customers, to our sales and install partners, hey, get them on a service agreement where you come out, you grease the hinges, you change the batteries quarterly or annually, and that's a nice addition. But as of now, it is a non-RMR model to the end user. The president of Asa Abu is very specific. He said, when you build this platform, he said, with my Netflix account, I know I can get shows on one device for $6, $6.99 a month, and if I want no commercials on multiple devices, I can get for $29.99 a month. So we really built the platform with that transparency to the end user in mind, to really limit their monthly exposure from subscription costs and that sort of thing. So would love for you still to get the install and get them in a service contract of some sort, but as of now, the Centrios platform is not your traditional RMR model.
And that looks like that was the list of questions. I really appreciate it. Chad did a great job running through here, kind of clarifying what you guys are and what you're looking to do. We're excited at Control Products, and we're actually starting, we stock them around the country. So they're not in every location, but they're not far away from every location. Uh, and I'd challenge you to go get a price on them and compare them to the typical lever sets you're dealing with out there in the field. You're going to see that it's really not that big of a leap to jump into something. In some cases, might even be cheaper than your normal solution. Um, Beyond that, I'm super excited to see what's down the way. I'm hearing rim device at one point. I'm hearing lots of things coming, so we're excited. Thank everyone for taking the time today.
Thank you.